Thanks, Paul. Thanks, everybody, for being here this morning. Players of the week from last week on offense was Chad Honoka. I thought he played outstanding. It's now 2 weeks in a row that Chad stepped up. Our big playmaker was Isaiah Bowser. Obviously a career day and really ran well in the fourth quarter. Defensively was Chris Bergen, was our defensive player of the week, and Montre Hartage was our big playmaker. He was 6 for 6 at the point of attack and thought played well all game. And special teams player of the week was Joe Bergen. So a double Bergen special, double Bergen burger here in the kick game. I thought Joe probably played his best game also. Practice-wise, Ray Nairo on offense, Jake Saunders on defense, and then Cody Leak in the kick game had to jump in some different areas. Our honorary captain this week, we're fired up to have Micah Adamle be our honorary captain. Just a special guy, first-team All-American back in 70, drafted in the 5th round in the 71 draft, and had 6 great years in the National Football League with the Chiefs, the Jets, and the Bears. Great friend of mine, known Mike for a long time, and fired up to have him as our honorary captain here this weekend. Playing an outstanding football team. It's Big Ten play. Get used to it. And, we got to have a great week. We got to play better, all 3 phases. But the guys I thought had a really good attitude this morning, and we got right to work on the Badgers. So with that, how about some questions?
Pat, can you describe the 3 running backs who played on Saturday and what distinguishes them, Isaiah and Drake and Chad?
Yeah, we put, I think like everybody, you put certain guys in the best situation to succeed. And, we were trying to, from a play selection standpoint, from a flow of the game, from different situation things, wanted to try to get the guys, all 3 involved. And then, kind of see who kind of took things over as the game went along. Mid part of the game, I thought Chad played very, very well. And then we were sprinkling in the 2 young guys. And then Isaiah kind of just started playing a little bit better as the game went along. I thought he played really well behind his pads in the second half and ran with some physicality. So that was encouraging to see. And I thought Drake made some pretty good runs too. So, all 3 guys will continue to work their tails off. And I'm really proud of all 3 of them. They really stepped up when we needed them. And they're just going to need to continue to get better.
Fitz, are you still thinking a lot about the redshirt situation with running backs, or is it now because of injuries you just got to?
Yeah, it's game by game. I wish I had a crystal ball to see where things go in the future. We've got to do what we got to do to win right now. That's the bottom line. You have a plan, and then you got to adjust the plan. So we'll see how things play out. But really proud of those 3 guys. Chad, obviously stepping up the way that he has. Again, it's not a surprise to anybody in the program, but to see the way he stepped up has been awesome. And, the 2 young guys are just going to keep getting better. They're just young.
Ask about a couple players I noticed. So it's Luckenbaugh and then Jake Collins is the number 2 kicker. Does that mean Charlie is out for a while?
Out this week.
So Jake beat out Joe Gaziano as your backup.
No, I had to put somebody in there. So there'll be any roster questions were all won by rock, paper, scissors, shoot. So full disclosure.
I do have a Joe Gaziano question.
Yeah.
What makes him who he is? And is it a lot of ability, determination?
Yeah, I think Joe's very talented. Yeah, I think Joe's incredibly talented. A guy that I think has got great football instincts, great functional strength, has – I think just a great knack off the edge. We'll do multiple things with him because of his football IQ. And, he's just been so productive for us. He brings it every day in practice. He's got a great work ethic in the weight room. And, a guy that I think has got a bright future in this game. He's going to play for a while.
When you have a high football IQ at that position, that allows for
Yeah, just a lot of flexibility with what he can do. We try to do multiple things on defense. Again, not unique to us. I think everybody does, and he's a guy that can handle it. I don't think there's been a mental error in his career. And if there has been, it didn't hurt us. Not one that I can think of. So he's an outstanding player. His dad was a great player and Supreme Court judge in the state of Massachusetts. He's from a great family. Work ethic is, I think, at the cornerstone of what the Gaziano family's all about.
Coach, at left guard, it seems like you got a sliding door working there a little bit, moving some different guys in. But one player that we happened to notice most of the second half was Sam, number 52, Gurrick. And could you tell us a little bit about that position?
Yeah, I mean, again, we're trying to find solutions in every position, and we've got to be more consistent. That's one of the positions that we just haven't been able to find someone to consistently take it over. And so until we can get that accomplished, we're going to have, really three guys competing, with JB. And I thought JB, outside of a couple plays, maybe played a little bit more consistent Saturday. Nick had played there for a couple weeks, and then Sam Jarrett's a guy that I think is going to have a really bright future here. He's just got to continue to get bigger and stronger, but he's really athletic, and the only way you get better is if you play. So, we're trying to find a way to get better up there.
Coach, Chris Bergen, Defensive Player of the Week. He's a walk-on. How important has his emergence been to the defense, and how would you characterize his play the last couple weeks in replacing Nate?
Yeah, well, our Offensive Player of the Week is a walk-on. Our Defensive Player of the Week is a walk-on, and our Special Teams Player of the Week is a walk-on. There's a theme there. Those three guys, a lot like a lot of our other walk-ons, are playing their rear ends off, and I'm really proud of all those guys for what they do and how they carry themselves. I think Chris has been outstanding. I don't think Chris would have expected this type of role at the beginning part of the season. And the Bergen brothers bring it, man, every day. You ask anybody in our program, those guys bring it every single day, and they're a joy and a privilege to coach.
So when a kid like that walk-on emerges as the starter now as a sophomore, do you look at that and say maybe we're offering the wrong guys at that position? And how do you make the determination when and if to offer scholarship? Like, what factors go into that?
No, I don't think we're offering the wrong guys. First part of your question. I think there's always great stories like that throughout the country where guys emerge that were maybe a little bit of this or a little bit of that coming out of high school, and maybe the scholarship door wasn't open for them coming in, but the opportunity door is open as far as a roster position or an opportunity to walk on. As you know, all of our guys here are priority walk-ons. So, not a surprise. And you go back my 13 years, you go back with Walk and with Gary. There have been some unbelievable walk-ons in this program, and that have been incredibly, incredibly productive. And then there's so many guys that maybe you don't hear about on the stat sheet on Saturdays, but make a huge impact on our team. And so, Chris and Joe and Chad, that's a short list of a long list of guys that I'm incredibly, incredibly proud of.
You go from facing a team you'd never coached against before to a team you see every year. How does familiarity enter into your prep for Wisconsin and theirs for you?
Yeah, well, Paul and his staff do a phenomenal job, and they're the reason why they've been so consistent in winning the Big Ten West. They're consistent in their play, and it's fun to watch every game. But this week, for me, I got a ton of respect for Paul. We know each other well, and obviously he and Hank spent a lot of time together, coordinating together. So I think there's mutual respect on both sides. I think I think you could say that this week. I think you can say it 2 weeks from now. I think you could say it 3 weeks from now. You can say it 4 weeks from now. You get into conference play, you get into divisional play. It's not necessarily, I think, you don't surprise anybody. It really comes back to execution. It comes back to who plays well that week. Every game's kind of a 1 week season, and you know kind of how they've attacked you. Then you know how they've adjusted their attack. Then you try to anticipate how they're going to attack you this year. Most people go out and do what they do, and it just comes down to who does it better.
Do you feel like this year's team could be the one that finally breaks through that dynasty and gets to the top of the West Division at the end of the year?
Yeah, I really just want to put together a really good Tuesday practice tomorrow. We're just really inconsistent right now, and especially on offense. And the pedal's down from me. So that's my job. I got to get it fixed. I got to get us playing more consistently, and my size 12 will be inserted accordingly.
What do you do to try to contain Jonathan Taylor?
You gotta. Number one, it starts with their offensive line. You want me to read them all off? They're dudes. They're outstanding, and then they bring in two other guys in tight end numbers that are 320 pounds and 315 pounds. Yeah, I love what they do. It reminds me of what we did back when I was in high school. And that's not disrespecting. It means we were very similar schematically. And I played tight end. And I loved the offense we ran. So I love what they do. They stick to their system. They do it really well. They're very physical up front. You know, he puts the ball in the soft spot. He knows exactly where the soft spot's going to be based on formation, based on front. And you know, if it was just him, again, it would be maybe a little bit easier. But they got a three-headed monster at running back, and Paul does a great job with them. They're really, really good.
I was going to ask about that offense after seeing it on film. What are some of your thoughts? What are some of the issues?
With Wisconsin, I think they're big. I think we're just inconsistent. I mean, that's the bottom line. You know, we're inconsistent at execution of plays. It's on us as coaches. We're inconsistent at pretty much every position, and we got to get better.
I thought Clayton had a rough game. What did you think of his accuracy, some of his decisions? I was surprised.
I mean, I asked him point blank. You know, how did you think you played? Rate your game 1 to 7 as far as the games this year. 1 being your best game and 7 being your worst. And he said 7, and I would agree. Man, is he a good player. Man, has he won a lot of games for us. And he's a great leader. And sometimes, like I said after the game, I was primarily talking about him. Sometimes you don't have your A game. And you got to find a way to will us to win. And he did that. And I don't think he flinched. And I think he owned it. And I think he'll do something about it. Because, man, he played flipping ridiculous the week before, huh? So, consistency. He's just like the rest of the offense. We've just got to continue to get more consistent.
Peck, you talk about Chad's journey from video intern to now playing and contributing, and just the energy he's brought to the program.
Well, I remember him when he was in the video office, and he seemed like a really nice kid. And then I went out to winter workouts, and he was going through winter workouts, and I'm like, what's the video kid doing going through workouts? I don't even know his name. I thought he had like a GoPro or something on his chest, I'm serious, like for the foundation video we do. I'm like, what's he? And I didn't get the memo that he was going to, try out and walk on the team. So shame on me. And then he was just kicking rear end going through the workout. And I'm like, the video kid's pretty good. And then we played football, and I figured out that his name was Chad. So then I started calling him Ocho Cinco. I didn't know his last name, and Honoka. So Ocho Cinco to me was easier than Honoka at the time. There he is, Ocho Cinco. And he's just willed his way. He's just like a majority of our team. They're just absolutely ridiculous young men that have an awesome attitude and just a relentless work ethic. And you don't know when your opportunity is going to be called, just if you're prepared. And he's been prepared. And I told him when I get older, he's going to be my doctor. So. I didn't expect to be down 4 running backs in a game. No. I mean, that is what it is. That's life. You deal with it, and that's why every year is different. Every season's different. And almost, to this point, as long as I've done this, every week is a different week. You don't know how you're going to come out of a game. You don't know where your attitude is at. A lot of it has to do with when you play a team too, right? I mean, you play some teams that might be, a couple weeks ago, I got up here and I said, listen, I'm telling you, Nebraska's going to play well. And some of you guys looked at me like I was crazy. And just you could see them getting better. I kind of felt the same way about Rutgers in a little different light. It felt like if they took care of the ball, you take the turnovers away, I thought they were playing better. Unfortunately, they had a bunch of turnovers. Well, they don't turn it over in our game. So, they don't really give us a chance to kind of flip the game the way they did against everybody else. So it's just a one-game season every week, and you just gotta get better each week, and you got to go play consistently on Saturday, and adjust accordingly as coaches, because you never know what's going to happen. I mean, how about the Wisconsin game last week? I mean, I'm watching the coach's copy, and it's sunny, and all of a sudden the next play it looks like, I'm watching, Christmas movies. I was waiting for the Unbottable Snowman to come out. Then I was rewinding, and it was like skip back in the 60s. Like, whoa. heading into 70s. Like, yeah, now we're talking. I mean, it was whacked, you know. And then you go to the fourth quarter and it's sunshine. I mean, it was crazy. Football's awesome. It's awesome. It's challenging in every way, shape, or form. It's awesome. And what a better time of the year than right now. It's the best time of the year. We got the World Series. Football, it's awesome.
You've touched on this before, but your first 10 years coaching, you went for it on fourth down 16 times per year. The last 2 seasons, you've gone more than 30, and you're on pace to do that again. What happened in 2016 that changed your mindset on that?
I don't know. Emails from fans? I don't know.
Is there any specific like drill you do in practice or that sort of thing to prepare players for fourth down situations?
Not really, Chad. No.
If you talked a lot about inconsistency of your team. Do you feel like there's a tendency to play up or down to the competition, or does that have anything to do with it? Is that something you talk about with the team, or no? Is it just consistency? Or
I think it's consistency. I mean, I think it would if I were to say it, it would be our offense. I thought our defense was freaking lights out. We gave up 43 yards. And if we don't hit the quarterback late, we don't give up probably 30 of those 43 yards in the second half. We don't give up 3 points. So I challenged the hell out of the offense this morning in our team meeting. I mean, grow up. Play more consistent. I mean, the number one motivator to me is the bench. And when I don't have competition, we got who we got. You ride with what you got. And you want to see a group that's getting better? Our running back room. We have 3 guys that are hungry to win. And we got to play better across the board. We got to coach better. That's the way it is. You stick together and you fight together. And, you know, we're 1-2 in games that we should have won games. And there's a direct correlation. We've turned the ball over. We haven't been consistent up front. We haven't gotten the ball out of our hands and made good choices with the ball. We haven't caught the ball well. I mean, this is not rocket science. This isn't. I mean, if you're going to a deeper meaning, I'll go back to my fourth down answer. Emails from fans. I got all the answers. I love them.
Was there any reason you can share why you opted to start Drake and then bring Isaiah?
Yeah, what do we do? Rock, paper, scissors, shoot? I mean, really, pretty much. Yeah. No, I mean, just sequence of plays. Trying to put guys in situations to be successful. That's all.
Yeah. How's Skoranek? He took quite a blow.
He flew home with us, on the plane, so that was great. So ran around today a little bit.
You think he saw Saturday?
Thursday, you'll get my injury report. But thank you for asking. Unless where's Paul at? Unless he screws it up. It's pretty cool. He owned it. Usually it's my fault, Ray. Yeah, thumb pointers.
Anything else for Coach? Okay, thank you very much.
All right, have a great day. Go Cats. Thanks a lot.